Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. In this session, we want to talking about process analysis, and we want to familiar with some techniques, and we learn how we can analyze the processes. So at the first, we should familiar with about the what is the analysis, what is process analysis, well, what can we achieve after analyzing the processes. And in the second part, if I'm familiar with some techniques, quantitative and qualitative techniques, and we explain one of techniques and learn by example how we can use these techniques to find the problems and issue around through the processes and improve them. I'm Said Ahmad Delri. I'm highly experienced and result-driven professional with over 10 years around the business process management. I was coach, I was teaching, I was a consultant in many companies and various industry. I want to share my experience with you, and also I share my experience by writing the 9 books such as business process management roadmap with my audience. We are in BPM life cycle. In our previous session, we talk about preparation and BPM governance and fundamental concept of business process management. After that, we talk about the framing and identify. We know framing and identify consists of 2 stages. First stage was about process architecture. We talk about process architecture, categorize the processes, leveling the processes, also a bit about BQC. And in process modeling, we talk about how we can design and modeling processes. If I'm here with some frequent notation on BPMN. The next step, measurement, current state. We are familiar with KPIs, also profile ID. We know the BPD, business process diagram, is not enough, and we need to more information about the processes. One document then can help us to gather more information about the processes, such as purpose, cycle, relation between this process and other processes, KPI of these processes, resource of these processes, is profile ID. We explain about profile ID, and we review a template for the gathering data by profile ID. Now we are in analyze. We are in the 4 step in how BPM life cycle analysis. As you know, we are in generally 2 type of methods for process analysis: qualitative and quantitative methods. We talk about the energy, cost, time, and a specific actually number. We are talking about the quantitative method, and then we are talking about the quality of something. For example, we want to now when you use the fishbone techniques, you are using qualitative techniques. So qualitative techniques is like art, and quantitative techniques is like statistics. We are engaged with already, then something like that. Let's dive into some techniques and familiar with the techniques in subsidiary of these 2 type methods. But before that, let me explain about what's the different BPA or BA. Do you know what's BPA or what's BA? BPA means business process analysis, and BA is business analyst. The P is process. What's the difference between them? When we are talking about business analysis, we generally analyze the business, probably in side of strategy, HR, etc. And we are in a upper level analyze. But when we want to analyzing deep by detail, we need to use BPD business, BPA business process analyst actually. We are the analyze the processes. We talk about task by task of each processes. So we are in detail and we are very deep. We dive into each task and how each task can can be happened, or how we can change it's a good task, or we can remove it, and etc. So BPA is a very detailed analyze, and we should know that BPM, business process management, is a one perspective of out of five perspectives in BPA. So BPA is generally and in an upper level there in organization, and talking about some issue. One of them is BPA, and there are I guess 50 techniques in BA and five perspective. One perspective is BPM, and BPA is a actually analyze the processes in our BPM journey by detail. When we have done BPA, we should know what's the result of BPA. Probably lead to improvement or create new processes. Sometimes we improve the processes, and sometimes we can find we can find a new processes that we should create it. For example, 10 years ago we didn't any we haven't any process for our online shop, but nowadays we sell online and we need a process for our online shop, for example online marketing, online selling, or etc. Or we need to create this process. Or in the other hand, we need to adopt our process architecture with our business object. After that, we can understood that we need new project, or we need to retiring process. So one result of BPA is create new process or improve processes. The second is retiring processes, limit and removing actually processes that should have been worked 10 years ago, but nowadays we didn't need to work for us, and just that is waste our resource. These processes we should remove these processes, or retiring a process. Sometimes as a result we understood that we should automate the processes. Process automation is other achievement of BPA. Totally automation, or just some task, or using RPA, using BPMS to create a business automation. So process should be automated, or a standard, or we want to standard the processes. As a result, in one of our projects, we faced with the process that when we analyze the processes, we understood that there are very variant around the processes. And we should standardize these processes and create some specific variant for doing these processes. We can use BPA for training purpose. We want to familiar our coworker with how they can find the problem, how they can improve the problem, that lead to improve our businesses, and that lead to actually help us to manage our resources. And also BPA can lead to updating our software. For example, we have created a software, and nowadays the software couldn't quite cover and meet our requirement. We understood that we should update our software. How we can do it? We can we should doing BPA. After that, we understood that we should add some task through the processes, or remove some task through the processes, or even change the path through the processes, change the business rule through the processes. All of them help us to know how we can updated our software. So BPA can lead to many benefits and also create value for organization. And we need to have a methodology for doing the BPA, actually BPI, that we talk about the methodology of BPI in the next session. But let me talk about some techniques for qualitative methods. One technique is about value added analysis. You can say VA, value added analysis. Value added analysis categorize each task to three level, VA, BVA, and MVA, and after that we should decide about this three level. We familiar with this type of this method today and practice with some example. The next is RCA, root cause analysis. Root cause analysis is very important for us. It's a really best quantitative methods. We're familiar with some techniques in subsidiary of RCA. Other is documenting problems and assessing impact is a method that we should consider to trend of problems or trend of using resource through the processes. We measure in some period of time based on our KPI. After that, we compare and create a diagram for this. This diagram can help us to know what will happen in the future if we continue our previous path. And other techniques is gap analyze. As you can understand, gap analyze talk about our current situation, our favorite situation, and distance between current and favorite situation. This helps us to know our gap between our as is actually model and to be model. And when we distinguish this gap, we can planning and decide it what's the solution, how we can achieve our favorite processes. The next is observation. Observation, like its name, you should observe how they are doing. They are doing their work task by task, and you should move through the processes between different lanes, different task and activity, and after that find problem by observing practical in operational level. And the last is empirical investigation. Actually, for example, when you are talking with business experts, you can find some problem. As I mentioned, we talk about this in our previous session when we are talking about how we should register our problems in our profile ID. You can see the profile ID session in our channel actually, and learn about the empirical investigation methods. But let's a bit more explain about the value added analysis. The value added analysis are two steps. The one step is value classification. This classification leads to create three classifier, three level for each task. And after value classification, we should decide about elimination or not, about the removing task or not. We find some tasks that are non-value added, and after that we should decide it is waste elimination, should we remove it or not. So it's a very simple but very practical method. Don't skip this method. It's really important for find some problem. We are talking about the first step, value classification, lead to three levels. One level is VA, value added for customer. How we can this task will create value for the customer. We should answer a question about that. Two questions about that. Two questions can help us that this task is value added to now. For example, you are filling a form to requesting goods or items from a store. This task is a value added. Why? Because we are requesting to getting or taking these goods because I want to do some processes on this material, and after that create a product for our customers. So this task is value added. At the same time, we are creating benefit, actually income for our organization. So this task is value added and can help us to create value for the organization. But sometimes we are doing something that is not directly create value for organization. It's related to our business permission, actually our business rule to the organization. For example, when I request to getting items or goods from a store, my manager should decide about that. That's it's right or no about my request. It's a business rule that, for example, CEO want to create this business rule because he want to control my activity. So, is a BVA, business value added. Investigation, my request is a BVA. But in the next step, you imagine that there are people like a store manager that just receive actually my request from my manager, and after that without anything just send to her employees, actually, for example, a store expert. He didn't do anything actually. This is a non-value added. Because this activity didn't do any value for our customer or our stakeholder. Also is not adopt with our business rule. We don't like to create a business rule because of nothing. Let me explain with this way. You should check each activity by this diagram and answer this question. For example, this activity is request to getting good from or item from a store. Answer this question. Does output have a stakeholder? Yes or no? If yes, answer second question. Yes, my request can lead to income and create output for our organization and at the same time for the stakeholder. What's the next question? Contribute to customer requirement. Actually, it's aligned with customer requirement. Yes, I want to receive these goods because I want to create a product for our customers. So it's a value added, real value added or value added, VA. If in each question your answer is no, you should come here and answer this question. It's contribute to business requirement, actually align with your business rule, can be aligned with business rule or rule of organization, procedure, and other document like this. If yes, so this activity is value added. If no, this activity is non-value added. Let's familiar with it with actually example about that. Here is an example. I should say that this example, I use this example because from Marlon Dumas BPM course and actually fundamental business process management book. I don't produce or create this. It's from Marlon Dumas, author of Fundamental of Business Process Management book. Attention here. Fill the request is value added because I want to create value for our stakeholder. You can compare with this question. Write this question, note this question or a paper and answer here. Fill the request is value added and send request is non-value added. Compare here. Fill the request, yes, output for a stakeholder and at the same time contribute to customer requirement. Yes, value added. But send, just with send is not related to outcome. We can send automatically, not just but manual by a person. So the answer is no. And think about it, why we should create a business rule for nothing. It's not happen. It's not believable. So the answer here again is the no, and that the sending task is a non-value added. You should answer all of these questions. Here, open and read the quest. What's your idea? Yeah, I agree. Non-value added. What about select suitable equipment? Select suitable equipment perfectly aligned with customer requirement. Customer requirement is directly affect on the customer requirements, so directly lead to output for stakeholder. The next, check equipment, record recommendation, forward request. Please pause video here, answer and actually determine which of them is VA, BVA or non-VA, and after that check with my answer. Check requirement is the same of select suitable equipment, so it's a VA. But record recommended equipment is a business rule. We want to record equipment for ourselves, or then it's a data that we want to use for our business rule, like a business rule. But forward request is like a send, like a open and read. It's non value added. Here, what's your answer? Again, pause the video and answer the question. Open and examine is like a communicate issue, forward. I hope you answer truly. Here, talk attention about the examine. The examine request is a business rule, is a rule for managing our resource and also controlling our business. Communication issue, the likes is the same. But forward request, you can see forward request, send request, and again open and read. And the last, produce PO and submit PO. Check with my answer. Also, you can see this activity and this answer in table and compare with your answer. So we determine some non-value added NVA activity through our processes. What should I do? Should I remove it? No, should be minimized or eliminated. Consider it, minimize or eliminated. Some activity can be eliminated through the automation. For example, like our previous example, sending, forwarding, you can automate doing by automation, or using RPA to removing some repetitive tasks like data entry and similar to this. For example, you can here some example, automating document control and eliminating document movement. It's at the same time you should consider about your stakeholder and about the effect of removing this task to your stakeholder. Probably they are resistant about the removing this task because you change their power and actually authorization through the processes. You should be very careful, should be very considerable about eliminating or removing some tasks through the processes. But what about root cause analysis, RCA? Here is some techniques like cause mapping, fishbone, fractal length, 5Y, etc. There are many techniques for doing RCA, but what's so important about the RCA? Let's take an example about that. Suppose your tooth is empty and you should tolerate some hurt and pain in your mouth. What should I do? Or one way is here. You, for example, should use some sedatives or something for reducing the pain. It's one way, but it's temporary because you didn't attention the root of this problem, about your tooth, root of this problem. you haven't fixed the root of your problem. So we expect that this problem will repeat it again, up to when we remove the root of this problem. Yes, right with his here. You should identify the root of your usage, and after that fix it. For example, we're filling the tooth. Root cause analysis is just this. You should find the root of its problem, not outcome of problem. When we see some problem, actually we are finding outcome of problems. But we should consider in a deeper level and find the root of this problem. We can use cause mapping method, Fishbone methods, 5 method, and any other methods that are in subsidiary of the RCA. Let's talk about quantitative methods. When we are talking about quantitative methods, we should consider that we are talking about cost, time, quality, or flexibility. We want to reduce cost, reduce time. It's not like art or like a managerial issue. It's about, for example, a statistical issue. And there are many techniques for quantitative methods: flow analysis, co-analysis, simulation, profiling, etc. But I want to talk about a very practical methods. And here, just you should consider that process mining is a very best and high-tech methodology that you can use for analyzing and improving the processes, but it's not in our agenda. I will talk about process mining in another free course. It's because it's a very deep knowledge, and we should talk about in some separate session. I want to talk about a time performance dimension. Actually, we are talking about a flow analysis. We should consider that when we are talking about the time performance, we have a waiting time, processing time, and cycle time. Cycle time equal to waiting time plus processing time. Or what's waiting time? What's processing time? Processing time is the time we directly spend to doing something, some activity, a specific activity, directly spent on this. But what about waiting time? Waiting time is the time that this activity is wait for doing. For example, I refer a job to my coworker right at this time. He opened and he actually will do this job tomorrow at the same time. From now up to tomorrow is a waiting time. And when you are doing the time, is a processing time. It's a difference between waiting time and processing time. But we need to some formula when we want to actually calculate a cycle time of processes. For example, when you're faced with a gateway, what should I do? How do you calculate the cycle time? Let's hear. Is our process is sequential. It's very easy. Just sum the time of each task together. It's very easy. But when we are, for example, exclusive gateway, what should I do? Here, T means time, and actually P means possibility. And here is the formula. You should actually P and T, or P, T, P do, T do, etc. Here is an example about that. For example, A time I will write here. A means, for example, 10 minutes, B 20 minutes, and C 10 minutes. First, pause the video and calculate, and after that I want to show the answer. Calculate the cycle time of this process. A is 10, B 20, C 20, B 80, sorry. Here's the answer. 10 plus, now we are faced the gateway. We should 20 to 20 actually our answer is 28. It's the same, or no, I calculate it again if not. For example, here actually we at A, B multiplied by 80%, C 10 multiplied by 20%. It's about the exclusive gateway. But what about, for example, per parallel gateway? What should I do? Here we know when we face the parallel gateway, the second gateway will be wait for the longest task, longest actually time. So we should select maximize time between this, maximum times between this, not anything else. Because for example, A, B, C, here is the 10, here is the 20, here is the 10 again. That when the 10 have done, here is wait, 10 have done, here is wait, because here we are doing something, and all of these should be done, and after that we can continue our path. Now calculate here. What's the cycle time? 10, 20, 10. Yes, right. The answer is here. 10 is A, 20, B is 20, C is 20, maximize is 20, and plus together 30. But what about the reward? Here is the reward. What should I do here? What should I do here? When we face the reward, actually we should use distribution. The time in, and here we are distribution with one negative R. Let's explain by example. Here A, B, yeah, and you can see the answer. Yeah, here you can see the answer here. But let's actually just talk about this one formula about that cycle time efficiency. How we can measure? We can measure the cycle time one times by a cycle time, the first time by cycle time here, and the next time by processing time. We talk about waiting time, processing time, cycle time. Here we should use cycle time, and here we should use actually processing time. This leads to actually measuring efficiency, the time efficiency of our processes. Pause the video and answer this question. I will continue. I can wait because the time of video can be very long. So you should pause and answer this question. Here is the answer this question. Just one important point. Here is 2 hours, 30 minutes. Here is 1 day. It's not a unit. You should at the first unit by hours. For example, 2 hours, half of hours, and each day is equal to 8 hours. And after that, you can calculate simply this efficiency, time efficiency. But what about the process flow cost analysis? When we talk about the cost analysis, all of formula is the same for a XOR gateway or other thing. Just we should pay attention about the AND. When we face AND parallel gateway, actually, we should sum all. We should sum all of them. We should sum all of them, not choosing just maximize time, because we spend money, we spend cost for both activity. For both activity, we use our resource for both activity. We should sum. I'm talking about parallel gateway here. If the 20 and 10 is representative cost, we should sum together here. What about when we are calculating cycle time? We choose maximum. We are calculating the actually we are doing the cost analysis. We should sum together. Also, we should add labor costs and other costs. Let's we explain about that in a table. Here is our previous diagram. As you can see, all of tasks are here, and who was responsible, about the time, about the salary per 2 hours. Here we should calculate at the first resource cost. For example, here is 40, here is 12 and 12.5, or here is 100, etc. After that, other costs, for example, spending money, using some other equipment, you should calculate this cost of this, and at the last calculate total cost, and use here for calculating the cycle, actual total cycle, total cost cycle in our actually in our processes. Here you can see the answer of this question. Just here we are calculating other cost, total cost, and you calculate by our formula. Just consider here V plus 22.5 by 75 lead to, and you can find last answer, the cost of this process. Also, you can use some software like Visual Paradigm or other software, Apromore, for the simulation. Simulation can calculate automatically. Just here we're familiar with this technique, but for using this technique we can calculate manually, or we can use some software to calculate this. Next session, I want to talk about the process improvement. I want to introduce a special methodology, step by step, for improving the processes. In this session, we talk about process analyze. If I'm here with some analyze, and you can search about any technique that we talk about that and learn more about the other techniques. Here, just we introduce two techniques: value added and also flow. About next session, we will familiar with the improving techniques. See you in the next session.